How's it going, everybody? So I referenced the recently released tier list in my tutorial video about Centurion ganks, and a few of you commented on it, and the thing that came up the most was the placement of Warlord. Moreover, the fact that he was consistently placed high or even at the very top of those lists. So I sent out a community post whether more people wanted to have a video where I explain why Warlord is considered so strong at the moment. First of all, there was way more participation than I expected, so that was a pleasant surprise. Thanks to everyone who left a comment or a like there. I really wasn't sure whether this is something more people wanted to see. We've done something similar last time when surprisingly Aramusha got rated really highly on those tier lists. That was before all the GB vulnerability changes and all that. So this video today will be structured similarly, and we do need a bit of a disclaimer at first when it comes to these tier lists and how applicable these are to our own gameplay. The exact reasons why each specific player put a hero in each spot are probably different. I in no means intend to speak for them here. All I will do is try and explain as objectively as I can what makes Warlord strong. At the same time, please also keep in mind that this tier list was created for competitive dominion. This means that a certain level of proficiency is expected from the players. Something you consider strong, they might not. Reasons why you struggle against a specific character, they might not. You get the idea. We've talked about this multiple times in the past. Another important factor is map selection. The competitive map pool is limited, which brings us to the first point that has been brought up by quite a few of you in the community post. Warlord is strong because of crashing charge. I think this implies that crashing charge is strong because Warlord can easily ledge people with it. And while he certainly can, this is not necessarily one of the main reasons. Take Highford for example. The C point is littered with ledges, and even in normal matchmaking, it's very rare to not see a Warlord picked there. That map has been removed from the tournament map pool for exactly that reason. As much as there is a divide in the community about baby-proofing maps or environmental hazards in general, the maps that offer less of them are usually the ones favoured. While not the sole or even the main point when it comes to what makes a good map, it certainly does play a role. We're all aware that there is not a single map that doesn't offer instant kills in the form of drop attacks, spikes or ledges. So crashing charge and having teammates correctly set up for it does present a, do we want to call it a problem? Up to you. So yes, all moves that carry an opponent and lock him in place for an extended period of time are an issue, and among those, crashing charge at the moment is the most problematic of them. Having hyper armor and no damage reduction during the carry portion, as well as the small little bug where the throw distance is increased, makes it the best among them. Whether it's the move's fault or the general flaws in map design, it is just a small reason why Warlord is rated so highly. So what are the big reasons then? The first statement I'm going to make might come as a surprise to a few people. Warlord has the best zone in the game. Yes, it's not PK, it's not Gladiator, it's Warlord. The blue zone has some amazing properties that help him in many situations. First reason why it's so good, the hitbox size. It's absolutely absurd, basically an almost 300-degree area around him, including a large portion of his back. So being close to even attempt to punish it while not being hit is already a bit of a problem. Next, the recovery. You will hear this a lot in the next few minutes. The recovery on a lot of his moves is incredible, and the zone is no different here. We are looking at 600 milliseconds for counter guard break, 400 milliseconds for guard swap, and 600 milliseconds again for dodge, which makes it really hard to punish, especially externally. Then the range. The attack has incredible forward momentum as well as the undodgeable property, so combined with this bash pressure that forces dodges, it is incredible at catching people. And 25 damage is nothing to scoff at either, especially as it can be used as a heavy parry punish. All that combined make the move an incredible team fighting tool, in particular as a tool for peeling. An expression used when trying to cover a teammate. You peel the opponent away from them. That can either be someone who has been caught in a guard break or someone trying to run away to heal. You stop the opponents from doing said punish or from chasing. The range and undodgeable property help in actually reaching them. 25 damage, like I said, is pretty good damage for a zone attack. All the while having very low recoveries, which puts Warlord at a very low risk of being punished for it himself. In general, it is an amazing move that can be used in many situations, from teamfights to ganks to anti-ganks, or simply as a punish when it's guaranteed. The main takeaway so far is that Warlord is extremely safe at what he does, and what he does well. There are other characters that can do similar things, but not many of them enjoy the safety of low recoveries. Which is our next talking point, low recoveries. Warlord has never received a big massive patch in the last year or so. He got a few tweaks here, a few changes there. If you remember, when we initially tested the Centurion rework in the very first testing round we got to play in, that test also included Gladiator as well as the Warlord changes. And even I, when I did the videos about this, kinda brushed off all the Warlord changes as they seemed rather insignificant. And the views of the videos also reflected that barely anyone was interested in what Warlord had to offer. Turns out that over the months we've all been proven a little wrong in our initial assumption. The small changes over the span of many patches, most notably the reduction in recoveries, is what makes Warlord such a strong pick at the moment. And the good news, many more heroes will enjoy similar recoveries with the upcoming Core Combat update. At least that's what we expect. The exact values are still a mystery to us, yet we can expect severe reductions or even standardization to a large degree. This means that it is much safer to throw out attacks in teamfights or when being ganked while you have multiple opponents around you. Having a good overview of a battle and knowing which moves you can punish is a vital part of teamfights. And we all know that there are moves like Shugoki Hawk with 2000 milliseconds or Raiders Zone with 1400 milliseconds of recovery. Using those moves just invites everyone around you to punish you for it, essentially making these, despite high damage or crowd control, extremely risky to use. So much that the risk-reward ratio is heavily skewed against you. And then this ties into frame advantage. I've tried to drill this into you guys' heads for quite a while now, as it will be very relevant come August and the big update. Low recoveries usually mean that you can start attacking much sooner. So once a Warlord gets going, he can keep up his offense, despite only having a 2-hit chain. The other important factors for teamfights are good hitboxes and high damage. High damage in general, as was identified by Ubisoft themselves, as a big part that makes a character have a high win ratio is something that is valued in characters. And while you don't have anything stand out immediately, looking at Warlord's overall damage numbers, they're all on the high end. 35 damage light parry punish, 40 damage combo heavies, 18 damage lights. He doesn't really have a move that feels unrewarding when it hits. So this also makes him good in ganks, as he can add quite the additional damage. This is all pretty straightforward here. The hitboxes are decent, nothing like Kensei or JJ. But enhanced lights combined with hyper armor heavies, both neutral as well as combo, make it very hard to stop him from attacking. Either by simply blocking. For that you might want to check the enhanced off-target light video to get a better understanding of why this can be an issue in teamfights. And on top, he can effectively trade with his heavies. He has a decent HP pool, and because of 40 damage hyper armor side heavies, these trades go in his favour most of the time. The enhanced lights also have superior block properties, which come in very handy, as they can also be used to block your own teammates' attacks. Backstep lighting to use those as an option select is also possible. You mostly see it with Black Prior, as those lights have an even more obscene hitbox, but it's definitely an option for Warlord as well. This all is not some game-breaking revelation here. All of that should have been obvious to most of you. His attacks have a lot of properties, which are obviously nicer to have than not to have. And while this full block is far from the best in the game, it's static, drains a lot of stamina, has only one guaranteed follow-up, it's still a full block that lets you externally punish attacks. In teamfights, a lot of attacks are being dead angled, either by locking onto minions or locking onto your teammates, and the most commonly used ones either have huge hitboxes to prevent an easy dodge, or have very little recovery, akin to lobbering a zone, which make it almost impossible to punish, even if you successfully dodged it. So a full block comes in handy here. It's definitely something I don't use nearly often enough, considering it offers a lot of utility. Also in ganks, where you just sit there and full block, not adding attack, and baiting a guard break or punishing big hitbox attacks. And then obviously headbutt. Warlord has a bash. I've made a video looking at the differences between the big three and why they might feel different in terms of how easy or hard they are to dodge. And Warlord is considered the hardest to dodge. Once again, this is in the context of people that can dodge these reliably, or at least semi-reliably on reaction. Bash-based offense in general is good, so this certainly helps Warlord's case. Last thing, just because it pushes some characters over the edge in viability of feats, Warlord, while not having bad feats by any means, he doesn't have amazing ones either. He's no Lawbringer or Kinser. Fire Flask obviously being one of the strongest feats currently in the game, but other than that, I mean, he has Bear Trap, which is banned in comp play, and same goes for Juggernaut. His feats complement his playstyle, but don't define him like some others. He does still lack a way to consistently punish bashes, but this is a completely different discussion by itself. Does every character need a dodge attack? To sum things up, Warlord is just extremely solid when it comes to base mechanics. Good damage, extremely low recoveries, many properties on his attacks. He isn't defined by one gimmick, but overall strength in almost everything he does. So yeah, that's it. I'm sure this tier list will be shaken up quite a bit with the upcoming update, hopefully also in a surprising way. Many of you asked for a video explaining all the placements, which is, well, impossible, as you've seen the video length of this one already. And also, I might not always completely agree with someone's placement, nor can I know all the reasons for it. Same goes for today. Maybe I've forgotten a point or overvalued something else. Nevertheless, I hope the video was interesting. Thanks for watching. Laters everybody.